What's happening, guys? This is Adi from Thedos International, and we are live today after our win 2-0 against Panetolikos. I'm rolling solo today, but I am expecting somebody to join me, or maybe even two people to join me in a little bit. I may even open up the lines for you guys to see if anybody wants to chat with me about the game. It is the first win of 2025, so we are all excited to start the year on the right note. And let's start this show on the right note as well. While you guys are tuning in, a few dozen of you have already joined in. Hit that like and subscribe button. Like just to get the engagement so that we can find more and more red and white fans. And then for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, you don't subscribe already. If you like what you see today, that button and help us continue to grow the red and white community. You can also support us on Patreon if you enjoy the initiative and you want to help us reach bigger and bigger heights. We have the infamous WhatsApp group, the WhatsApp chat, which is always lively. They are still arguing as we are going live right now. We saw a check-in from patron Stefano here, and he is right now also getting in on the arguments there in the Patreon chat. You always have somebody to talk to, no matter what time of the day it is. There is somebody in another time zone that is ready to go and ready to chat Olympiacos. So check it out for $1 a month, and then you can also get some extra content for $5 a month, and then also a merchandise tier for $10 a month. So thank you to our patrons, and if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/Thedos7 International. So check it out and let us know what you think and become a part of this growing community. Now, before we get into some of the post-match, there was some really big transfer news today. First, it started with some reports coming out of England. And in those reports, they said that there were some Spanish clubs interested in Antony, a very disappointing player for Manchester United. And then the caveat was, or the extra message that was in this transfer rumor, is that there was a Greek club. There was a Greek club that was interested in Antony. So our co-host Kostas Lianos spoke to some of his sources, and his sources, which we put on social media, his sources then told him that the club that was interested was indeed Olympiacos. So that was information that we had set out. Now, obviously, there's some things that everybody needs to know about that. Even if the club is interested, he's extremely expensive. And at the same time, he has it's a very difficult to get a deal done. Manchester United spent a lot of money on the player. He's making about 12.5 million euros a season. So even if they gave us a haircut, it would be very difficult to get this deal done. Now, another caveat we were told was, even though there was an inquiry, it was very difficult to get a deal done. And then we also received some information as well, from the club itself, saying that right now there's nothing for Antony. So huge thing. And, there was a lot of differing opinions when the news came out and the rumor came out about him, about whether or not this player could be useful. And this is very much the type of player that we would have been hoping to get him in his previous form when he was at Ajax, not his form at Manchester United. Of course, a player that played the way he did at Ajax and then he goes over to Manchester United, that's like a graveyard for players these days. Don't hold that too much against player. But in the end, guys, there's going to be a lot of these rumors. There's going to be a ton of rumors of these types of big names. What will come will come. We know that we're looking for three things. We are looking for a left back, not just a backup to Francisco Ortega. We are looking for a player that will challenge Francisco Ortega for the top spot as well. So that's what we're looking for. Athanasiou is a player that is an Olympiacos player in the summer. He is an Olympiacos player. He will be coming in the summer. There is nothing yet about him coming in the winter. He is right now staying at Atromiros. And what I would imagine is that Atromiros would not let us take him right away unless they could find a left back option. And I don't know what is really out there for them, in that respect. So, again, so if, for this type of thing, it's going to be a pretty long winter. I know that some of the reports, including from guys like Kotsis and Nikolakopoulos, they've all said that Olympiacos is going to try and get something done sooner rather than later. But at the same time, we know that some of the best deals come towards the end of the window. So moving on from the transfer news, that's kind of everything that we've got there for transfers. There's a lot of names that have been talked about. Miguel Almiron, who we've talked to you guys about in the past, 8 million, 5 million. Are we going to get him? Where does he want to come? Things like that. But, it is what it is. Players have to go before more come in. Willian is already gone. Seems like Oliveira and maybe Yaramchuk, even after today, might be on the way out. And we're going to touch on that in a little bit. But first, we are going to chat a little bit about the game today. Panetolikos versus Olympiacos, 2-0. In a way, even though it's a new year, we saw kind of some of the same that we have been seeing up until the winter break. Early on, especially the first 10 minutes, Panetolikos, I think, had more of the ball than we did, or at least it felt like it. They didn't really do much with it. They didn't materialize a ton of great chances, but Panetolikos was definitely doing more with the ball. Then, of course, as time wore on, we took control of the match. We were the ones that started getting the ball forward, but then our product in the final third was terrible. Again, we were spending, by the time the 30th minute came around, I was looking at some of the distribution, the passing stats. Almost half of our total possession was in Panetolikos' final third. And we had only materialized 3 chances at that time. And nothing really changed. Even until the penalty. We were there. We had a couple of decent chances. And but cross after cross after cross. I think by halftime we had over 30 crosses and we connected on 4 of them. It's insane. And again, if we're looking outside of the penalty here, it's the same issues, right? We're getting crosses and we're getting volume and delivery inside the box. We have 1 or 2 guys in there. You have El Kabi, maybe Velde that's running in on the other side, or maybe Chiquinho. The most we ever had in the penalty area, and I went through each play afterwards, the most we ever had an open play in the penalty area on a delivery, whether it was a cross or otherwise, in the box, we had 3 players at the most. And you could see our deeper mids, Heze and Muzakitis, allergic to getting into the penalty area. And that, I believe, is by design. By the way, guys, I'm going to drop the link here. If you have some thoughts and opinions you want to share with me, I'm alone right now. Like I said, I might have somebody else joining me, but if they do, they do. If they don't, go ahead and join me. I just dropped the link in YouTube, so go ahead and click it, and then you can join and we can chat. We could talk about the game. But moving on, as the game wore on and we had more possession, we saw that Panetolikos was approaching this match the exact same way that they approached it last time. Park the bus, 11 people behind the ball, try and get us on the counter. What we did well today, our press was great. We did very well dispossessing them. Even when they would get down into our final third, they weren't getting a lot of shots inside our penalty area. They would get things outside of the box, which they skied and they hit off target. Nothing that was incredibly effect on the defensive side of things. I'm sure when I see the Y-Stat scouts in the morning EST, that it's not going to be anything that is game-breaking, at least on the end of Panetolikos. But, for us, I'm going to guess that we, even with the penalty, that we had goals, again, that we left on the table. We had a handful of really big opportunities. And, even before we went up, before we had the man advantage after the deserved red card, um, the Panetolikos had a couple of reckless challenges all night. There were the referee Sidiropoulos had some interesting decisions early on, but he got the second yellow right, at least in my opinion. And the handball, the handball was a handball. If I'm a referee, am I calling that? Probably not. I think maybe it was a bit harsh, but it is a handball by the letter of the law, the way it is. I think about some of the handballs that we haven't been awarded in the past that were maybe a little bit clearer than that, but it is a handball. That call gets called against us, especially in Europe. That's how I see it. So, look, guys, it's in the end, a win's a win. We are pushing ahead. We gained some distance. Panetolikos beat PAOK with a red card. Panetolikos now has 5 red cards in 7 matches that have given them man advantages. And we just pulled a little bit away from PAOK, and we have Panetolikos that's just behind us. So it is going to be a tough title race. For whatever the case is, whatever the context is, Vitoria has Panetolikos, even though I don't think they're playing that much better. They're at least a little bit more united, and I see a little bit more passion in their play. I see them playing with more energy, a little bit more aggressiveness than they were under Alonso. So in that respect, it's going to be a tough title race. Panetolikos, there will be a time they're going to drop points again. PAOK has been all over the place. AEK has been all over the place. It's going to be up and down. And we are continuing to have the same struggles with the bottom sides. We got the win today, and it's a nice 2-0 win. But if we're ignoring the man advantage, if we're ignoring the concept, let me back up. Let me put it this way. If we're just looking at how we perform before the red card, we are not going to get red cards every time. We are not going to have a man advantage all the time. You're not going to get penalties all the time. So when you look at how we performed when it was 11 on 11, we were dominant, but again, we saw the same struggles trying to break into the final third. In the winter, whoever comes in, whoever they're bringing in, has to be somebody that is going to be a threat in the penalty area for us. It has to be somebody that is going to be willing, maybe even if it's against the orders of the coach, is going to have to get into the box and commit and help us in that way. I think it was a Kotsis article I read this morning, had mentioned that whoever we are bringing has to have the skill set of an 8/10 and also bring not just creativity to the table, but also bring better shot accuracy to the table. And that's interesting because I've brought up to you guys over and over and over again how we are so bad. We are so inefficient with the opportunities that we have. We had a SofaScore said we had 18 shots today total, 6 on target. This is one of the worst, least accurate teams in terms of overall shot accuracy of Olympiacos. And that's, you can put that on Mendilibar in a way, right? Because it's very clear that there's some things we do not work on. First thing we don't work on at this club, set pieces. That's clear. Second thing, our offensive sets, like when we're moving in possession and we're transitioning into final third. The only thing, I don't even believe that we really work on crossing in training because I don't see the movement into the penalty area. I just see crosses going in there, and it's usually just El Kabi, maybe one other person there. So I'm not sure I even believe we work on that much. You saw today we had maybe 2 or 3 moments where we had some nice interplay up the middle to get into the penalty area. We had a couple of decent opportunities there. I think one ended with a shot from Muzakitis that he should have done a little bit better with. But it's, Mendilibar, we talked about this. I told you guys about this when we reviewed his tactics. He is an offense by defense coach. So in a way, we expected this, right? The thing that I expected maybe he would do better with at this point is adapting and maybe or adjusting or raising the line more when it came to the smaller teams. Because the way I see it is if our primary offensive tactic when we're in open play, when we're in possession, is to get the ball wide and cross it in, fine. Put more bodies in the box. Towards the end of Pedro Martins' tenure, we weren't doing much different. We had that stupid overload that used to piss me off, if you guys remembered. We would see 6 players in a line, and then we would also play balls. We would do a lot of crossing. Pedro Martins always cared about volume, but he would commit numbers into the penalty area. He would make sure that we were committing penalty areas or committing people into the penalty area to connect with those. We were great on set pieces under Pedro Martins in almost every season. So if you're going to play this type of ball, you have to commit to it. And we don't. It really feels like what we see on TV, what we see when you're there at the stadium, what we see on the field is that this team is working on one thing very well, but it's not working on other things, and it's glaringly obvious. So in that respect, it's, it can be a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, I also believe that a couple different personalities, can turn this thing around for us in the way that they move. Now, we can have a debate on whether or not Mendilibar can kill that type of creativity with what he wants from his players or not. But, before I talk to you guys anymore, I am going to bring somebody else on here. Fellow co-host Kostas Levoyani. Kosta, how you doing, buddy?
Hi, what's up? Sorry I'm late. Happy New Year to everybody. Good to be back. And nice win today. 2-0. Clean sheet. What's there to complain about? What did I miss?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was talking about more the kind of like what we saw early on in respect that in the beginning, it was kind of like, so we saw some similar things, a lot more crossing, not hitting the target, people not getting into the penalty area, but we also had chances to score and we didn't. We had a couple of pretty good ones even before the penalty. There were some people that asked about the penalty, whether it was a penalty or whether it wasn't, the red card, that kind of thing, to which my answer has been, we're not the ones that have 5 red cards or have benefited from 5 red cards in 7 games, but I'm not going to go into that any further.
It's funny. Like, I was just waiting in the studio before coming on and just hearing you speak about a few things, and the things that you just mentioned about, does the coach practice crossing? Like, do they actually practice crossing in training? And okay, the set piece point we've talked about before. We know he's an old school coach. You see clubs, the top clubs in Europe, they're hiring set piece specialists, right? And
right.
he's supposedly against that kind of thing. And we've scored 1 goal from a set piece, I think, this season. Biancon's goal against Offi away. I can't really recall opportunities per se created from set pieces this season. We
0.
don't have
0. I went through every one. 0.
We
besides
don't have
the goal that we scored.
We don't have a set piece specialist. I mean, you've got Sergio Oliveira, but Sergio Oliveira, for many, should be on his way out during this January transfer window. Haven't been impressed with like Chiquinho's delivery or anyone's for that matter. But, we've beaten that like a dead horse.
Yeah.
There's this whole kind of question that's being raised about the manager's suitability. In some cases, okay, you can have a discussion about whether his approach and his kind of narrow-minded or let's say limited tactical approach stifles creativity. And it's true, like, let's be honest, man, like watching Olympiacos in the Greek league this season, if it's not against the bigger teams, like the top 3, top 4, call it what you want, the games are hard to watch, man. Like, like it's very predictable. The ball's going to go out to the wings. if Rodinei is playing right back, it's kind of painful because like I don't see how Costinha is not the week in, week out starting right back for Olympiacos. And I don't mean that as a disservice or an insult to Rodinei. I just feel like he's better when he's cutting inside. When he has a runner on the byline. And he's better when he drives inside and he's penetrating. That's when he's been better, and we've seen that in Europe. We've seen those opportunities he tries to create. He's cutting in from the right, shooting with his left. I think he's even scored a couple of goals like that this season. But again, to the point, we're very predictable against these kind of teams in Greece with the low block. And okay, today, I mean, the first goal was a penalty. To break the deadlock, we needed a penalty. It just, you're just getting the balls out to the wing, cross it in, and then you look at our breaks and our opportunities and the crossing, and there's like one person in the box when we cross the ball. We're not even overloading. It's like we're not even overloading the box. You literally have to have a pinpoint cross to the striker's, foot, head, whatever it may be, and hope that he hits the target. And it's painful because recently El Kaabi's been on a bit of a downer as well. So if El Kaabi's not scoring, you're like, okay, where's the goal going to come from? The second one came from Chiquinho today, which was actually a nicely worked goal. Totally watchable. Funnily enough, came from a cross from Rodinei on the right.
Was it a cross, or was it like one of those like low?
No, it was a cross.
Balls?
It was a cross from the right, and Gelson dummied it through his legs, and it ran onto Chiquinho, and then he kind of spun over the ball and smacked it. It was a nice goal.
But that wasn't it wasn't in the air. It was like on the ground.
No. Yeah. But like, okay, still counts as a cross. But anyway, yeah, man. I mean, you can have a conversation about, again, what I said, Mendilibar stifling creativity. And you've got some creative players in that team. And some, like, you do start to wonder about what happens towards the end of the season. But that discussion is very far into, like, seemingly far into the future. Yeah. We're just in January. Okay. Things move fast. But as long as Mendilibar's pulling off results in Europe, if we can progress in Europe, we've got 2 games now against Porto, Karabag. I feel like we have to be aiming to get 6 points from these 2 games. Yeah. And then you're into qualifiers, knockout phase, where we know he's a master. So the discussion around Mendilibar as a coach and his suitability and longevity in the position, does he renew at the end of the season, very much depends on performance in Europe coming up. Yeah. So we're going to have this conversation again. But it's interesting, like, more and more, I don't know about the chat here, but certainly in our Patreon, if you're not part of our Patreon group, guys, you can go check that out. Listing in the details below. Join our Patreon. For $1, you can get access to our WhatsApp group. Great conversations in there. Get heated sometimes. That's always fun. $5, you get access to exclusive content, and $10 for merchandise tier. Quick plug. Go and check out our Patreon. But, that conversation about Mendilibar is definitely being had more and more in the Patreon group.
Costa, on the Rodinei discussion, right? Because you brought up when you were talking about more like his profile, right? How when he cuts in, he's very dangerous. Also, we can't forget, and it's the same case so far this season. Rodinei is a leader on the team when it comes to progressing the ball into the final third. He carries the ball very well in Europe. He was also a core engine of our possession moving forward and getting the ball forward from our defensive end in that transition. So, like, we know very well where Rodinei, what his skills are. We know very well where he can be successful for us. The one thing that Rodinei does not have going for him is his, like, crossing ability. When he has, let me put it this way, when he has to put the ball in the air over players, that's when things don't work out for him. If I go by SofaScore and Yscout, A cross to them is a ball that goes in the air from the flanks to the other side of the field or into the penalty area. That is a cross for them. Anything that's on the ground counts as a pass. So Rodinei, when it came to crosses, or we'll say passes in the air, right? So crosses in the air, he was 2 of 14 today, Costa. 2 of 14. We have not seen a crossing, and you know, both of those. The one was for the header for Heze that Heze missed, I'm sorry, he didn't miss. It was deflected and went into the post. But 2 of 14. Do you remember the last time we had a player that had such a terrible crossing efficiency? Oleg. That was the last fullback that had such a terrible. Oleg at one point went 1 for 14, I think, if I remember correctly. So we look at this and we say, and we look at it and we say, well, wait a minute. If this is what we're doing, Costinha is by far our most accurate deliverer, if I can say that, our most accurate crosser on the team. If this is the type of ball you're going to be playing, you have to play. You have to play. Ghost, I talked about, by the way, quick side thing here, because I see a comment about it. And somebody threw it in the Patreon chat too. Someone here is talking about, I guess it's a social media, a big social media page saying that Olympiacos made a $2 million loan offer for Antony. I already talked about this earlier, and I pointed out that we were also told in no uncertain terms, that there's nothing with Antony. I'm going to repeat that here. I know what this account has said, but we have been told, and this is something that's been told to us directly. There is nothing right now between Olympiacos and Antony. I get that you saw that on social media, but as it stands right now, that's what we were told. Whether a conversation happened,
it could just be agent tricks too, man.
Right. It could be an agent thing, but we were told that there is nothing between Olympiacos and Antony, and this is something that came direct. Okay, this is from the horse's mouth, you can say. So even Ghost, I even as I was coming on, I saw something from Verveles also that said the same thing. So you know, I'm telling you, we not only got word directly, but it also was said by Verveles that there's nothing between Olympiacos and Antony. So I'm telling you guys. But anyway, yeah. So going back to the Rodinei thing, Costa, I think that against these lower block teams or teams that were not having issues in the final third, or we're spending most of our time in their final third, we need to have Costinha in there just for the cross delivery. Or somebody needs to tell Mendilibar, you need to commit one more person into the penalty area. I hate when I see Muzakitis and Heze standing with their toes just outside of the 18-yard line every time. It is the most aggravating thing. That is instruction, Costa. It's not that the players are afraid. That is 100% instruction. It doesn't matter who the player is. You could have Danny Garcia in there. You could have Stamenic in there. Whoever is playing in the deeper midfield role, they definitely have instruction. They are not to go into the penalty area.
I think both, like, it's funny because Muzakitis and Heze, they both got into the box a couple of times today.
That was on set piece situations, though, not during open play.
Like, Muzakitis' chance was just after Chiquinho's shot, wasn't it? It's like Chiquinho had a shot that was saved by the keeper, and then there was a recycle of play.
Right, but that was after the set piece. That wasn't like in build-up on open play. We're playing the ball onto the flanks, and we're getting bodies devoted forward. Everybody was already committed forward at the time. It's a different context. When we're in open play, I have never once seen the deeper midfielders get into the penalty area. Only after set pieces or during a set piece do we have people that are in there, and then if the phase of play ends, they come back out. But during that time, that was after a set piece. They were already committed forward.
Yeah.
It never happened in open play, at least as far as I can remember.
I don't know if it's an instruction, but I certainly think if you look at the profile of the players, it's a tendency that they both have. Like, I mean, okay.
Sure.
Like, Muzakitis is a deeper lying playmaker. I know he scored a lot of goals in the youth league and in the in lower age categories. That's the thing. Like, you want him to improve. You don't know what kind of player he's going to be in the next year. But that's certainly an area for improvement for him. And he could have got. I think he should have had a goal today. Like, that chance that he had that fell to him inside the box, that kind of just glanced by the post with his left foot. Could have scored there. He's trying, though. You can see, like, a couple of opportunities today, even on his right foot. He's taken a couple of shots outside the box. I think that's more what he likes to do, is to kind of be outside the penalty area and wait for a stray ball and try and hit a missile,
right?
Like a well-placed shot. It's hard because I don't think those two have really gelled or like found a good chemistry between them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm curious your opinion on this, because I actually thought Heze was improved today.
I thought he was great
compared to previous performances. Like, his press was more intense. Like, he was just like generally seemed more on it and involved in the game, doing things that like he was doing last season that he wasn't really doing before the break. So that was a positive takeaway from today's game. For me, it's a small thing. Like, it wasn't like nothing extraordinary, but just there was something about the team where like there was more intensity, there was more urgency, like to get the ball forward quickly, get some bodies forward. It just like the game was a bit faster than other games that we've seen this season. So that was good, because there were concerns going into the game about, they had 8 days off. We were hearing some things about their fitness results not being too great coming back from the holidays. So, that was positive to see overall. There is another thing I want to segue to. So there's a message from Dimitris. Greetings from DC. Happy New Year. Besides left back, we need a forward. El Kabi, not as good as he was last year. And here's the question. That miss today from Roman Yaremchuk.
Oh,
mate.
De La Fuente's crying right now.
Mate, players have been cut from this team for less.
Oh yeah,
it was so bad, and like I wanna support this player because I do think there's a player there,
right?
But like, we've come on this show numerous times, actually, I think in the past month or so, and we've said, Mendilibar needs to give him time, like on the pitch, like give him time on the pitch. Today gave him 7 minutes. He came on like 83rd, 84th minute. And when he came on, I was thinking, what's he going to do in the next 6-7 minutes? Like, and Kostulas does that nice play on the right-hand side, plays a peach of a cross, puts it on a silver platter, open goal, tap in, misses it. And you're just like, okay, maybe the coach sees something in training that we don't see, because it takes a lot. That everything's you can miss chances in football. Everyone can screw up, but man, that was horrendous. It was horrendous.
Yeah. It was bad, man. I brought up on socials, I brought up Conrad De La Fuente. Do you remember the double miss? Now he had a double miss, so maybe that's worse. But I don't think his chances were as clear because he was out on that left side when he skied those two chances.
No. But this one was a tap in. This was a tap in.
This was exactly like Conrad De La Fuente's career ended for less, in my opinion, than this. Now you what you said about what Mendilibar sees in training that maybe we don't. Yaremchuk's only played like 250 minutes, man, including today. I don't think he's played more. Here, I can tell you that right now. I think he's played like 240 minutes. So, to me, at this point in the season, only have 240 minutes. I think that tells you everything. I don't think he really maybe trusts him. as much as at all, I should say. So I don't know. Today I think probably was the nail in the coffin. I think they're gonna try. If they weren't already thinking about moving him on, which I think the signal has been clear that they are, if they can. Eh, that was bad, man.
It's hard.
Was
it's hard, mate, because he's on a 3-year contract and we paid $3 million for him. But yeah. There's a lot of stuff going around on socials as well about his record the last couple of years. Scored 4 out of his 10 goals against an Icelandic club, I was reading again, and it's like, God, man, this guy like seriously needs to catch a break. I don't know, but like to the question that was put into the chat and the comments, it looks like we do need a striker. If we can move him on, then yeah, of course. But can we?
Yeah.
But can we move him on?
I doubt it. Just like I'm not so sure we're gonna move Oliveira on that easily either.
Yeah, me too.
That's just me.
Me too.
I think here's how I see it happening, Costa. And honestly, I wouldn't be too upset with it either. The way we moved Willian, I think we get the left back. I think we're gonna get the left back. We'll get the playmaker since Yazici's out for the season, and then we'll get the winger to replace Willian. I think I don't see us doing any more than that, because I just don't see Oliveira, after witnessing and hearing. Actually, you were the one that told us what you had heard about from your Galatasaray fan friends and associates. You know what I mean? So I just don't see us moving Oliveira on that fast, or Yaremchuk. Who's going to pay? Who's going to pay for a guy that's played 200 minutes, hasn't really scored much in the last few years? And we knew this in the scouting report. When we talked about Yaremchuk, we said, here's the thing. It's all here. Can we get this? Can we figure out how to take this out? In the summer, I was confident because I thought, hey, look at all these careers we had been revitalizing, right? Look at all these players that came in, and Mendilibar seemed to find out how to use them the best. I thought, you know what? He can do it with Yaremchuk too. He can do it with him. Maybe he could do it with Oliveira. Unfortunately, those two cases, it hasn't been the case, especially Oliveira. Oliveira, I think, is I've been saying this multiple times. Oliveira is a square peg in a puzzle board of round holes. Doesn't fit. His profile's not what Mendilibar wants, and the way he uses him is not conducive to the rest of the team. Unfortunately, it is what it is. And in that case, if we can move them on, great. Great. If we can't, though, in the end, for me, the more important pieces are the left back and the forward options. We don't need surgery on this team, Costa. It's just little pieces. Those pieces, and I think we're flying. Oh, Costa, you left yourself on mute, buddy. Somebody does it every time. Somebody does it every time.
The old trick. We have a guest waiting.
Bring her on.
Be my guest.
We have Elena Papageorgiou here, Sport News 24/7 journalist. She's covering Panetolikos, and she was at the game
everyone.
today. Hi, Elena. How are you doing? Kalispera, Apo Ameriki. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh, much better with the win today. You were actually
so, am
at
I
the
listening?
stadium.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Yes.
Yes. I was in the stadium.
So tell us your thoughts. Tell us your thoughts. What did you see today from Olympiacos and Panetolikos as well? What did you see from the game?
So I saw that Olympiacos needs a player who must play in the center, in the middle of the center. So the team had a problem to make a face for a goal. Sorry about my English. They are a little rusty. And I saw weird things about the match.
In what way? If you don't mind explaining.
What did you find strange?
Oh,
The
Elena, can
ref's
you hear us?
decisions, they were very strange.
The ref.
No, it
Yes,
was
I can hear you.
Sidiropoulos, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, see, there was a lot of before the match started. There was a lot of complaining by people about the ref. Sidiropoulos is his name.
I didn't saw the face exactly because at this moment I was writing, but I heard from all the Olympiacos fans and Panetolikos fans, most sorry, that they have some problems with this decision.
He's not an amazing ref by any means. He had a couple really bad calls early on. There was the one foul he called on the left side
Ref
of the field.
Sidiropoulos, if I remember well, last year had also a problem at the match of Europa League.
I actually don't remember that, but I know everybody complains about him. Nobody seems to like Sidiropoulos in any respect. So I don't know what that tells you about the referee.
Yes.
But tell us
I
about.
don't remember also the match, but I remember that the fans had a problem with this
Yes.
ref.
Well, what players did you think were doing the best today for Olympiacos? Was there anybody that you thought looked very good? Was there anybody that you didn't think was playing well today?
Oh,
Are you able? Can you hear us, Elena?
sorry. Okay, yes, I can hear you. So, can you repeat the question?
Yes. So my question for you was, which players for Olympiacos, did you think were doing very well today? Which players were you disappointed, or did you think were not playing very well today?
So I was disappointed from Yaremchuk because he lost a very easy goal. And Biancon was pretty well, okay. I think he was the only one that he claims all the passes. He was at every phase in the opponent's στο αντίπαλο τέρμα. Συγγνώμη κιόλας για τα αγγλικά μου.
Yeah.
At their goal, yes.
Zelso Martins was also okay as a player.
What did you think of Velde today?
Great question. Oh, did you hear the question,
I didn't hear
Elena?
you.
What did you think?
He asked.
What did you think of Velde today?
No.
Velde. What did you think of him today? No.
Velde. So, that's Velde is a very, how can I say it? A weird player. Today he was in some phases good, but his passes were all wrong.
I could see that actually. For me, when it came to Velde, I thought overall, if we took everything in unison, I thought that he was probably one of the better players for Olympiacos today. But he did misplace the ball a handful of times. But what I appreciated from him, especially early on, not many players of Olympiacos were taking risks. He was the only one. Panetolikos had 10 players behind the ball. 10 field players were sitting, and we couldn't get the ball behind or into the penalty area. Verde is the only one taking a shot from far away to draw them out. Everyone else was afraid to do it. That I appreciated. Another thing I appreciated, who went up for the header which drew the penalty? Velde did. Who drew the foul that got the second yellow card? Velde. So he was involved in all of these phases that turned out to be extremely important for us. Now, that won't show as an assist for anything. That doesn't show on the stat sheet for anything. But for me, that activity helped. Now, I also believe that in his positioning, that he was not where he was supposed to be a few times. And Mendilibar did not enjoy that. And Mendilibar yelled at him when he came off the pitch today. He was not happy. Yeah. So I get both. I would get both why people didn't like it. Could you hear him yelling from the box, from the press box?
Yes. Sometimes Mendilibar was pretty angry about the actions of his players.
Was there anyone in particular you could tell he was screaming at more? Velde, maybe? Karma and
Velde.
So I didn't notice this thing because at this moment I was writing. I saw the match, and in the same time I write the phases, all the phases.
But you could hear Mendilibar a lot.
Yes.
Comment from Fragiskos. Carmo was getting it for sure. Carmo, talk to us about, what did you think of David Carmo today, the center back?
David Carmo was, I think, that Biancone was better than Carmo today.
I think that's fair. David Carmo has been a disappointment.
Yes, and I think that he was stable. He wasn't necessarily so bad. He was trying to help, but I think that Biancone was better than Carmo today.
I was surprised to see Carmo start today.
You and me both, and no Retsos.
No,
and I think that Olympiacos was struggling again.
In terms of the open phase play, you mean?
We couldn't create chances.
You're right. We couldn't create chances. Yeah. No, it's the same.
Yes, we couldn't create chances.
But that's funny. That's funny as well. That's funny as well because, we say that we couldn't create chances, but in the first half we created 3 big chances. It doesn't look good. Is there a difference? So is there a difference? There's maybe a difference between not creating chances and not doing it in a way that's appealing to the eyes. Because we did create chances.
Yeah.
In the first half.
We did create chances, but it was difficult for our team. It was struggling again.
Breaking them down was difficult. And the way that we went about breaking them down was not pleasant on the eyes. Because it was constantly, like we said before, passing the ball to the wings and crossing it into their centre-backs for an easy header with El Kabi in the box, never getting it. But I don't know if signing a Fortunis-esque player is gonna necessarily solve it, because it's the system,
right?
It's the system. It's the way the coach plays. It's what he knows, and he's not going to change it. And this is an interesting question when it comes to the transfers, because are we going to sign a player that fits the system because it's what the coach wants, or are we going to buy a player that doesn't fit the system because we want a player that's outside the coach's rigid way of playing, somebody that can mix things up, somebody that's that talented and that good that can actually do that? and gets away with it from the coach. And who's going to make the decision about those signings? That's an interesting thing about this January.
Who knows?
Exactly. Like,
I hope Mendilibar, because in Mendy we trust.
Yes, we do. He's earned that trust.
But that's what we were talking about just before you came on. Like, he's earned the trust, and I think that as long as he's getting results in Europe, and we have that brand of European pedigree and recognition, then he's okay. If we lose the 2 games against Porto and Karabag, we're in big trouble. Well, he's in big trouble. He's in big trouble.
Yes.
He's in big trouble. And we've got a game against Panetolikos coming up in January, right?
We've got a couple games against Panetolikos coming up. Yeah, man. We have the Kipelo, and then we have I think it's the league then too, right? Don't we play them again?
We have also Porto.
Yeah,
it's not easy. This month, I'm looking at the schedule that we put up for January right now.
I think we have
it's not easy. This schedule's difficult. We have Aris at home next week. Next week. I guess technically Saturday, I think. Then it's Panetolikos midweek. Is that the first leg? That's the first leg of the
Yes,
Kipelo,
next
right?
week.
Well, we play Panetolikos in the Kipelo, assuming they beat Atromiros, because they still have to play their second leg for the Kipelo. So probably playing Panetolikos. We'll play them on the 15th. Then it's Atromiros away, Porto away, then Panetolikos at home, and then Karabag. This is not an easy schedule. Very difficult. Especially when you're
January for the team.
Yeah. Literally, it's very difficult. I mean, I
so
know
the
everybody
transfers, they are necessary.
Yes. No, they are 100%. 100%. We need the especially the offensive help. Elena, were you there for the post-match press conferences?
Yes, I was.
Did you hear anything from the coaches or from Mendilibar in particular? Anything or any of the players that was interesting?
No, they didn't talk about that. They just said that they are working on the team. They didn't say a name of a player or something like that.
Oh, even about the game. Like, what did Mendilibar say about the game in the post-match conference?
So, just a minute to see, because I don't remember.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't watch the post-match, so I was just curious if you had heard anything that was at least, if he had said anything, what he thought maybe the issues were, because Mendilibar usually is very open with his opinions on how things go. So I was curious if he said anything about the game today that was interesting. Costa, here's a from Arispan, very old follower of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead, Elena. Go ahead. Elena, were you going to say something? Maybe not. Costa, Arispan.
Yes, just a minute. So talk with Costas, and I'll tell you for Mendilibar later.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Arispan, there's a lot of people talking about Mendilibar being given the appropriate transfers, that his choices. And then Arispan had a response that you should never trust the coach to choose his own transfers. We know that Mendilibar chose Danny Garcia over the summer, and it's been told over and over and over again that he gets the final say on all transfers. So if you remember over the summer, go ahead, Costa.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I just put a poll question in the chat. Chiquinho was winning man of the match, so I think that's done and dusted, at least from the fans' point
Pretty
of view.
Easy.
Yeah. So the question that I put in the chat, basically, should we sign a player that coach wants specifically, yes or no? The three options are, well, sign a player the coach wants, or sign a player proposed by the scouting department, or sign a big bang.
Chiquinho was the match of the month because of the goal. So today I didn't show him so well.
Who would have been your man of the match then, while we're at it?
LKB, for sure.
I think he was one of the options too. How many votes did he get, Costa?
He had like 16%.
So it was very low, actually. Chiquinho was running away with it for a while.
Yeah. He had more than 50%.
Elena, do you want to tell us about the post-match now, or the press conference, rather?
Yes, of course. So, Mendilibar said that it was a balanced game against Panetolikos until the red card. And he said that they knew that the match was difficult, and they also asked him about how can he handle the thing that Olympiacos played as the last team for this for the 17th game of Super League. And he said that he hasn't sorry. So he told that the thing that Panathinaikos was in the first place, he could create them stress, but it was also a motivation to win this today game.
That was interesting. Not something I actually thought about, Costa, to be honest with you.
Sometimes
I guess
it works. Sometimes I don't know. It's hard to say because in the past, the big Olympiacos teams, whenever we were first, you could never knock us off. It was very hard.
Exactly.
It was very hard to knock us off first place. So
exactly.
With this team, you don't really know.
Olympiacos was taking the championship with 20 or 30 points difference.
Yeah. Right. Back in the Pedro Martins, there was 3 seasons after Balk won the title. It was, you couldn't touch us. It was
actually in general. The thing is, this team doesn't have that pedigree.
Right.
How many players on that team have won the Greek championship? How many players on that team have won the Greek championship? Zoulakis. Zoulakis has won the league. Retsos.
Masouras. Did Masouras come? Masouras won the league too.
Masouras wasn't even on the bench today.
Right. Retsos technically.
Retsos didn't play today?
No, he didn't play today. But did Retsos win the league before he left?
He was there before he left under Hassi, did he? Yeah, he left under Hassi.
Yeah, so he did.
He did win the league.
I don't remember if he left
with
early,
Bento.
So with Bento, that was it. Paulo Bento. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then so you don't really have a lot of
there's no one.
Really
there's no one on that team. There's no one on that team today, bar Zoulakis, that's won the league.
Masuras.
Yeah.
You mean people that played? People that played
people
today.
that played.
Yeah.
So
No,
in general, you see what I mean? Like it's not a squad that's built on like, we're winners, like we know how to win the league.
Right.
Yeah.
The mentality you have to have.
So mentally, how that's gonna factor in as we get deeper into the season when playoffs hit. It would be nice if we could go into playoffs with a nice cushion. Although I'm less afraid. I'm less afraid of dropping points in those kinds of matches. I think we're all more concerned when we play against lesser opponent.
Exactly.
Like we did. Okay, like Panetolikos, for the record, are a good side. Today is the second most difficult game we will play before the playoffs.
Right.
We've got all the derbies at home except for AEK. We go away to AEK and we played Panetolikos today, who are 6th in the league, below Aris.
And reminder, Costa, this Panetolikos side has not been a joke. It took a red card against Panethinaikos for Panethinaikos to beat them. I think PAOK only beat them by 1. And then, if I remember correctly, AEK also only beat them by a goal as well. If I remember correctly, they beat Aris. If I'm remembering correctly, it's only all of the big clubs have barely beaten them. 1 goal here, 1 goal there. Panetolikos has been a very well organized side this year, so they've already been difficult for the other side. So a 2-0 win today, when they could do nothing against us, even if the second goal came a man up, you're happy with it. You're going to take this win. This is the type of match that we've dropped points already once this season. You're going to take the 3 points and you're going to move on. That's it. Now we have Aris. That's going to be another problem to deal with. But you know what? We take the 3 points and we look ahead to Aris. And we go on from there. Elena, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for sharing your opinions. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the game, or maybe tell the followers where that they can find you on social media as well before you leave?
Okay, thank you for joining your company. And I was a little nervous because it's my first time to a live. And so you can find me, if you want, at the social media on Instagram as Elena Pape98 or at Facebook as Elena Papageorgiou at Greeklish, if you want to share and to search my profile. So I want to thank you again, the Thrillers International, for this opportunity. And I hope I could see you in the next time before, because today I wasn't so I didn't have so much things to say.
Absolutely. But thank you for joining us, Elena. You're the first, what do we say, Olympiacos fan that is also a woman to join us. We've had other journalists before, but we've never had an Olympiacos fan come and join us that's also a woman that follows Olympiacos. So thank you for being the first to come and join us on the show.
That's an honor for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bravo. Καλό βράδυ.
Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ.
All right, guys, we're going to close up here. We've been going on for a little over an hour, so we're going to close things up as we always do. You heard Elena's man of the match. Costa showing something, but his background is blocking it. Is that the signed Fournier jersey?
Yes, it is.
You have the information for who won the giveaway, right? You tell
everybody
so
who congratulations won. To Aspa. Aspa, I don't know if you're watching live or if you're going to watch this on replay, but I'm going to take this to the post office tomorrow. And sorry, it's maybe difficult for you to see with this virtual background, but this is Ev's jersey with the signature on it. the red and white
Amazing.
one. So yeah, great things happening.
I'm guessing short for Aspasia. Is that?
Yep. Yep. So signed Evan Fournier jersey coming your way, Aspa. Some nice giveaways that we do on our Instagram from time to time. Make sure you're plugged into all our socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok as well. Don't know if you guys have been appreciating some of the stuff, some of the reels that have been coming out recently as well. But yeah, this is a nice jersey, man. I'm kind of sad to have to give it away, but I'm gonna have to order my own.
Yeah, guys, if you don't follow us on Instagram already, we had so many giveaways over the holidays. We had that it was the Conference League lamp. It was like a very nice USB lamp with the Conference League trophy and the Olympiacos logo. That was really cool. There was that the picture, like it was like that poster picture with the drawing of El Kabi. It was very nice, professionally done drawing like that. And then now we had the Fournier jersey, which we announced the winner. We also have a Mouzakitis jersey, which is a giveaway on our. You go check out our Instagram page. You can see that giveaway. And then there's another giveaway. It's another basketball jersey. So go to Instagram, follow us on Instagram, and then check out the post of their pins. So you can see we have 2 more giveaways that are active. So check it out. And you can potentially win yourself a jersey. There's some cool stuff. GOK, make an Instagram just for the giveaways, bro. Just make it, follow the page, and join the. Literally, it's been like this is now the 6th giveaway in like a month. Tons of cool giveaways. So cool stuff. Check it out. Make an Instagram, buddy, and try to enter to win. Hussein, everybody gets a chance to win. But do you know how many entries that there are? Costa, how many entries were there for the 48 jersey? It was like hundreds.
Thousands.
There were like some of these, like the jerseys get so many entries. Thank God there's a program that automates like who's the winner for you and does it without that would be insane. But yeah, there's so many. Just to give you an idea, Hussein, the basketball jersey, the other basketball giveaway, has only been active for a couple of days, and there's already over 600 entries in there. Like, there's a lot of people, man. A lot of people that want these things. So, anyway, check out the giveaways, guys. Costa, let's do this real quick. Man of the match coach's grade. We talked about who the audience voted for. You heard who Elena voted for. She was El Kabi. Who was your man of the match today? And what is your coach's grade? Or actually, do man of the match first. We'll do coach's grade after.
I thought Biancon was solid. Like there was, I liked Velde too today, man. Like I thought he was lively.
Yeah,
it's like I think I agree with you when you said he was the only one that was taking risks. He had a nice shot from outside the box towards the beginning of the game. Like it didn't hit the target, but like I like the boldness. I like the effort to do something different. And man, yeah, he misplaced some passes. He's not I think it was raised by Hussein earlier. He's not well connected with all the players in the team yet. They don't know how to find him really well off the ball, but. Mate, he put through a couple of passes to El Kabi. There was one in particular where it was literally like, here you go, mate, shoot and score, like in front of goal. And El Kabi went to go around the keeper and scuffed it.
Terrible decision.
He has the assists, if you call it that, for the penalty too. So he did things to try and unlock the game that others on the pitch weren't really successful in doing. Right. And I didn't rate El Kabi today so much. Like I think he's in a poor reign of form right now. And there's no one to kind of get him to pick it up. Who's pushing him?
Nobody.
Costulas isn't an out-and-out striker. Like Costulas for me isn't an out-and-out striker at this phase in his career. he's better like either on the wing or behind the striker as a second striker. So the Okabe situation worries me a little bit. So yeah, man, if I have to pick someone, I'm probably picking Velde. And I know that's left field, and I'd probably get lynched. Like, people are laughing at me right now, but there's no one really that really stood out today. So going for Velde, I was happy to see him start today. I was surprised, but happy he got game time. And I think it's important that we give him a bit more time, because we have seen things from him. He has scored a few goals, and I'm encouraged that the manager played him today as a starter.
No, you and me both, man. I think that at least when it comes to Christopher Velde, we've seen the last few games, man. Like, but the last 2 games he played before the end of the year, this game, he's been looking a lot better and more involved. He's been getting involved, and this poor guy, man. The last game he played before the end of the year against Lamia, dude, he should have had an assist, and he should have had an assist today too. You know what I mean? Kostulas should have had an assist today. Oh my God, Yaremchuk, like if I'm Kostulas, I'm like, man, I can't do more for you. I can't.
It's like, what do you say to him in the dressing room after? You just like, it's like, fuck, man, you just messed up my assist bonus,
Exactly. The one thing I'll give Elkabi today was because in the possession swing, like when we had the ball, I wasn't too impressed with what I saw from him. But on the other side of things, he was very energetic on the pressing side. I mean, he caused the mistake in the first, the first 5 minutes of the game when he ran at the goalkeeper and caused him to screw up and basically kick the ball out himself for a corner kick. So I thought Elkabi at least was, in that respect, like, I liked what I saw, the movement and the energy from him, because he didn't look dead today.
Yeah.
The last couple games before the end of the year, dude, he looked like a corpse. The guy looked like he needed a rest. So at least at the very least, we can say Elkabi looks well rested. I thought Heze had a good game today. If you noticed, and I double checked the heat map to confirm what I was thinking, Heze stayed on the right side today. He wasn't trying to go all over the place and cover all the ground. He was staying primarily on his right side. Muzakitis was staying more on. So we saw that in the second half of the season. Heze was amazing when he didn't have to worry about overcompensating for everybody. Iboro had everything on the left side of the deeper midfield. Heze focused on what he was supposed to focus on. He was a little bit better with the trap today, a little bit better with the counter press, and he moved the ball around pretty well, as much as we can expect. He's not a playmaker. You're never getting that from him. So I like that from him. But, I think before the goal today, Chiquinho also had a couple of really nice balls into the penalty area that could have led to goals. I don't remember, it was 2 or 3, but I know there's 2 that I can clearly remember. So, and he gets the goal today. It was a nice finish. He pressed well today. He won the ball quite a few times. I think I had seen that he had not just a handful of tackles won and ground duels won, but he also had a lot of interceptions. His crossing was not good today. If he connected one cross, I don't remember. But if I'm taking everybody all together, I would probably end up it maybe to him, to Chiquinho or Rodinei. Because like you, I don't think Elkabi did enough. He scored the penalty, but he didn't do enough in open play for me. But Velde also, I saw so many people complaining about Velde. And trust me, I understand why Mendy was pissed with him on the bench. I could see it. Positionally, I get it. Even though I think maybe that's a little bit ridiculous, but I get it.
I don't see it as a bad thing. I think if the coach is screaming at you, it's not always bad.
Yeah.
So
no, it's not always bad. Yeah.
It's the hairdryer treatment,
Yeah.
It means he cares. If he's not reacting, then he doesn't care. He doesn't care about you. I think he obviously sees something. He wants to get things out of this player, and it's up to him. It's up to him.
Yep.
And I think he is showing things, and he needs to get more time. Now Willian's not there anymore.
He'll get plenty of time.
Yeah. And if another player is coming in, which by all reports, we're looking for a top shelf, like quality winger, then before we do that, he needs to like run his socks off. And he did that as well today. The effort was there on the defensive side, on the press. So now's his time.
Yep. And Hussein, I never mentioned this with Tolakis coming way off his line to cut that attack. I didn't think he would ever do that, to be honest with you, but love to see that from him with the confidence.
Man, Zolakis, honestly, Marshall, sorry, this is the last thing I'll say, and then I need to go to bed. How Agilos Postecoglou has not signed or tried to sign Zolakis this January transfer window, because Tottenham right now are an absolute freaking disaster when it comes to injuries all the way through the squad. Vicario's out for the rest of the season. We've got Fraser Forster. And we just signed the player who, okay, I've never heard of until today, but apparently talented, like super talented goalkeeper. What's his name? Antonin Kinski. I'd never heard of him until today.
No.
But even like, it's amazing, actually. I think Zolakis would be great for the way Postecoglou sets his teams up. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's confident, fearless. Anyway, good for us, bad for Spurs. Anyways, my mini side rant is over.
So we'll do this real quick, and then we will close up for the night. What was your coach's grade for today?
I'll give him a B+, kind of A-, because I like the lineup. I like that Biancon was in, that Velde was in the lineup. He didn't change his centre-back pairing for the first time in a long while too, which was like new year, new Mendelebar, no centre-back substitutions during a game. Okay, we won the game fairly comfortable in the end, so there's not a great deal to complain about.
Yeah, not at all.
With
the dagger to Costa. Leave Tsolakis to a club that can actually win a title. Good night, guys. Dude, the Tottenham slander.
It's part of the reason I support Tottenham, mate, because we're just serial winners over here, so I have to balance something out. At least we play nice. At least we play good football. Try to anyway.
My goodness. I'm with you there too. A B+ also for me for Mendelebar today. Guys, got an hour 20 minutes of great discussion today. We brought on a journalist. We brought in Elena. You got to hear from her. She is a journalist in Greece. She covers Panetolikos, but she's also an Olympiacos fan. So great to hear from her. Great, she was there at the stadium watching everything. So great to get that firsthand experience from her. And also great to get our first female Olympiacos fan to get the nerve to talk and actually want to share their opinion. So that was pretty cool too. So thank you everybody for joining. This is a jam-packed January. There's going to be transfer rumors. We've got the rest of the schedule for the league phase of Europa League. We've got 2 derbies with Panetolikos. We've got Aris next week. It is going to be a pretty crazy January. So got a lot of stuff in store. We're going to be there with you every step of the way. We're also going to be dropping all of the transfer news as we get it. As I told you guys last week, we do get quite a bit of information ourselves. We have our own sources now, so we can verify a lot of things. We can get a lot of great information, so we'll continue to do that for you. And then scouting reports always if any players sign. So be on the lookout for all of that, guys. Like and subscribe. Costa, those 1-minute videos, man, they're
man,
awesome.
They'll be back. It's coming.
Yeah, and give some love on Instagram and TikTok for those videos. We also post them on Facebook too. The vast majority of them Costa does, and he does incredible video editing for those. They're so awesome. So give him some love, like those, engage, and again, help us continue to grow the community, guys.
Tell
Like,
Yaya and
subscribe,
Papu about Thrillos International. Tell Yaya and Papu, those
everybody. And if
crazy
you're
English
listening,
speaking guys that talk about Olympiacos.
yes. And if you're listening on audio, if you're going to be on one of the podcast platforms, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, you name it, give us a 5-star review and help us continue to find more people there. We're growing everywhere on every platform. We just broke 12K on Instagram. I didn't say that earlier either. So huge milestone. We've now got 20,000 followers just from over 20,000 followers just from Instagram and Facebook. So it's crazy. Good stuff, guys. Everything's growing, and we're excited. First win of the new year. Let's make it 2 next week. So thank you, everybody. This is Thrillos International, by the fans for the fans, and we will see you all next time.